scratch the surface of negotiation, but we will try to cover at least the basics so that you are at least aware of what negotiation is and how does it work out.
And also conflict management, right?
I will come to that, don't worry.
Okay.
In the meantime, I would request you people to, those who have not switched on the videos, to please switch on the videos. I will wait for a while, and if I get no response, in some time, the moderator of the session will start putting you into waiting rooms. And if the moderator doesn't put you into waiting rooms, I would. And that's because your videos are off and I'm not sure if you are even there. So that's the point. All right. So I'll start with, since it's been forced that I have to speak about conflict management, and so I'll start with conflicts first. What do you think is conflict? So the norm is that when I ask a question, you may raise the hand using the Zoom tool, and I will come to you and you can answer, right? So what do you think is conflict? When you hear the word conflict, what do you think is conflict? Yes, Uma, please go ahead.
Two different opinions.
So Uma, you and I may have a different opinion. Does it mean that we have conflict?
Means we are not coming to the one conclusion.
So so then it's two different opinions, but that does not lead to conflict always, right? People can have two different opinions, and still they may not have conflicts. I mean, you have one opinion, we have another, but that still means we have no conflict. So when do we have conflict? You get my point, right? When do we have conflict? Exactly. When do we say that this is conflict? Yes, Abhishek, please go ahead.
So, Professor, when there is basically a disagreement or clash between two parties, could be on, let's say, disagreement on any particular idea or disagreement on the interest.
Okay.
So, basically a disagreement.
So it's a disagreement. So conflict is a disagreement.
Context could be idea or interest, but are there.
So the conflict is basically a disagreement. So this disagreement can arise because you have different opinions. But then why do we have why do we have disagreements? On what issues do we normally have disagreements? On what issues do we normally have disagreements? So if I ask you that you would have had conflicts and disagreements with people in your work life, in your personal life, but what have those points been? Why, on what issues or what points did you have disagreement with? You may call about something big that happened or recall something that just happened. So Lavnish, please go ahead.
So sir, I will tell, since I am from government background, generally they have been on basis of ethics, that whether the rules permit or ideally on the basis of values, that is it right to do something or not.
Okay, so it's about value systems that you have conflicts about. You are from which background, you said?
Government. I used to work in with government of India.
So you have issues about value system, that whether it is right to do or not, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
It is right to do or not. Okay. What else do you have conflicts about? So Kaustubh, please go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, like Lavnish and Abhishek mentioned, disagreements or, maybe clash between values or could be opinion.
But what else?
Something to do with, contractual disagreements, probably. Something that is written in a set contract, but
about what?
Perceived in a different way.
What? There can be 10 things written in the contract. So the disagreement has been about what? It's important that we go.
It could be based on a set of deliverables.
Okay. So you have issues with deliverables.
Yeah. And normally, I mean, what I've seen is, it's not just the deliverables, it's also the perception of the deliverables. One party perceives the deliverables in a different way, the other party thinks that they've delivered it, but the perception is the
Perception of deliverables, or what I would like to call is, this would be broadly into communication, right? You have not clarified.
Yeah.
You have not
That's right.
given clarification as to
Right.
what is to be done. The perceptual differences happens when you have not given clarification. Yes, Ivanshu, please go ahead.
So basically, see what I have observed while working also, there is a way of working. And when there is a different way of working, it's natural to have a conflict. Like, I want to work like this way.
And why would different working styles lead to conflicts?
Not sure about the reason. Maybe
I mean, it's okay, right? People have different dressing styles, people have different working styles. So why would it lead to conflict?
because everyone feels that they have the right way of working. I mean, that's somewhere humanistic nature, maybe, I don't know, that overpowers. But yes, everyone has a different way of working, and that's how it is. And another example, Meet, I want to focus on. It's like interdepartment kind of a conflict. I have a different goal. Like for a sales, I have a different goal. I just have to focus on the revenue generation. But there is a customer success team who wants to cater to the customer, right? And they have a
So these
Yeah.
kind of conflicts are goal conflicts.
yes.
Every team has a different goal. Everyone wants to accomplish something else, and because they start having conflicts because they think that we have to do it a little differently. Dharmendra, please go ahead.
Hi sir, as everybody said, right, disagreement, conflict means disagreement, and because of the different opinion it can be a different understanding. I can give the example. So suppose which project I am working, most of the time I had a conflict with my manager due to some of the customer issue and the way of the software we are delivering to the field.
So way means how do we deliver, right? The process of completing the goal.
Yes, how we are
Sometimes you have the issue on how do you achieve the goal.
yes.
Fair enough. Yes, Fazilat. I hope I pronounced it.
And I can add one
Yeah,
more word,
correct,
sir,
sir.
if you.
Go ahead.
Shall I? Okay. The conflict means where the two people are having their own interest, that they are not having the common interest. Maybe due to financial outcome, or maybe they are not agreeing to our terms. So different. I mean, their own personal interest when they don't have common interest.
Their own personal issues, right? Okay. Anything else? We are still not covering all areas. We are just limited onto a very small, narrowed area. So yes, Aniruddha.
So can I say
something very
Yeah.
different?
So I think when two or more people are working for a common goal, often parties feel that they are not equally rewarded or acknowledged for their contribution or goal, and that creates that's one of the basis for a conflict.
Rewards, compensation, credits. Fair enough. That
Yeah.
can. Fair. Abhishek, please go ahead.
Yeah, Professor. So, a classic case in corporate conflict, as Anirudh just rightly mentioned, could be a conflict between the employee and the management. So, when we talk about the employee and the management, could be on KRS, KPIs, could be on Comben. Laterally, it could also be a team conflict, maybe a manager versus team, where in terms of PMS or in terms of again KRS and KPIs. Could
So
be leadership conflict, could be leadership conflict also.
Fair.
I may or may not be in sync with my vision of my leadership. So
And why-
not necessarily a conflict could be expressed, but yes, I may or may not agree with my leadership team. So that could also arise in conflict.
And this is not because you have different goals, but because the vision is different.
Vision is different, yes, Professor.
Why would you have different vision?
Vision different in the sense I may or may not agree in terms of the way.
I get that. Why? Why would you not agree? Because ultimately you both are working for the same company and you both will be rewarded better if the company grows. So then why would you have difference in the vision?
Let's say, Professor, it could be that a certain strategy has been evolved, but the way leadership want to execute that strategy, I may have a different opinion, or I may think there could be a
Alright,
better.
yeah.
There could be a better way to A classic example, let's say if I'm into FMCG and if I have, it's a go-to-market strategy, I may think it's a different other way should work around, which might differ from what my leadership thinks.
Okay, fair, fair. Yes, Mohammed, please go ahead.
Yes, I think it is in the corporate sector. Usually, the conflict is also about control. You know, controlling the project. For example, if I am a project manager, I am controlling my people, my team, my own way. But that might have that might have other people might have some different opinion about it. And the second one is that the strategy also. Strategy means why the conflict arises in strategy, because it is not communicated properly. Again, it links us to the communication. The main conflicts happen, sir, because of the main reason is the communication, vision communication, for example, and also open communication is not there. The top management is not disclosing everything to the people. Sometimes it happens in the corporate sector. I have experienced
Fair.
this.
Got it. Fair. Thanks. Yes, Sunil, please go ahead.
So conflicts also occur due to interpretation. In the
That
sense
would be communication. See, interpretation,
Yeah.
perception will be communication.
Okay.
Got it.
If you could, but in terms of not really communication, in terms of contracts also. I mean, if you look at a particular statement and depending on, it can happen due to difference in the way in which people have learned two things. So, I mean, maybe it's a different way of the approach of a scenario. Does that? I mean, it's different from communication in that way, but it would be more about the way in which they interpret a particular scenario. And saying that this is how we look at a thing, and this is how it should happen.
Why would people interpret scenarios differently?
So it depends on the way in which they have faced with such things earlier, right? It's based on history, personal history, or based on the way in which their goals, I mean the way in which they have lived their life, right, till today, or the way in which they have experienced the
What you're
organization.
trying to say is the way they have been brought up.
Yeah,
Their
yeah,
personality is.
Yes.
Right. All right. Yes, I'll listen to Suparna and Warren because they have raised hands, but then I'll pause for a while, Abhishek, because I've taken once your view and then we'll move on to the next segment. So yes, Suparna, please go ahead.
Yes, so in corporate, majorly these conflicts they arise because of promotions and the marks allotted in the PMS.
And why would
And that
I think
raises
that's a very
plenty
black and
of
white thing, right? When people, you have been allotted the marks or you allot someone the marks based on their performance. Is that not true?
So there is always not fairly the marks are given. Because
Sorry?
there is a marks are not given fairly.
Oh, wait. Are you trying to say that the people who evaluate you are unfair?
Yes, it's not like that. But as
If they are not allotted fairly, means they are unfair.
sir, there is a ratio for each and every designation promotion. So they have to move forward some candidates and some they have to reject it. Accordingly,
Then
they
it's a
give the
fair
marks.
system, right?
Pardon, sir?
Then it's a fair system.
Yes. Because sir,
You get what
in the
I'm saying. I got the
process,
point. I got your point.
in the
got your
process,
point.
many good works they get ignored because.
So then it's unfair.
Yes, sir.
Then it is unfair.
So sometimes it is fair,
All right.
sometimes it is
I'll
unfair.
I'll not force you to say that someone is unfair, but that's what you are hinting, and you got what I'm saying. Fair. I got your point. Yes, Paul, please go ahead.
Are you looking at personal conflicts or saying this? Or only
Either. When we talk about conflict or negotiation, it's not that you negotiate one way, you become a good negotiator in one domain, but in the other you don't. Conflicts you can face in all walks of life.
personal on finance between the wife and husband, basically, on their spending way, the way you spend, yeah. So that could be a conflict. The perception of expenses might differ from my perception. Or even the education, like my perception of school or college that my son wants to go to, or what he wants to go in future. It may differ on that. So
all of this. Yeah. We have to cover entire ambit, right? Now, if you see the screen, right, the conflicts that are on this side of the board versus the conflicts that are on this side of the board. Do you see any difference? The question is to the class. Do you see any difference between the two? Himanshu, please go ahead.
But on the right side, the value system, am I right or wrong, the way, the personality are on personal reason, right? And the ones on the left are very specific to the business ecosystem. Right? Maybe the compensation report.
I would extend it. It's not only about business ecosystems. I didn't write it because the board is full. But what Warren said, right, that if there is a conflict between a husband and a wife regarding what should they do with their kid, what degree should they have, or how should they manage the finances, that also will fall in this side only. Now, what are we trying to say is the conflicts that are on this side of the board are called task conflicts. Task conflicts are called good conflicts. Why good conflicts? Because these conflicts invoke discussions. These conflicts allow people to exchange ideas, views, opinions so as to make better decisions. So when you have a good conflict, whether it is family, teams, organizations, it leads to better outcomes. You rightly pointed out that the conflicts that are on the right side of the board, that is on this side of the board, these conflicts are eventually called relationship conflicts. Why do I say relationship conflicts? Because here the conflict is not out there. So normally, assume that I have a conflict with you. If the conflict is out here, then it is a task conflict. But the moment the conflict turns here, I have a conflict with you as a person. This is called relationship conflict. I mean, just imagine if you go and tell someone that, I am right, you are wrong. Who's going to like you? If you go and tell someone that I have a conflict with you because of the way you are brought up, I mean, how am I going to resolve it? If I go and tell someone I have a conflict with you because of your personality, how can I resolve it? Relationship conflicts are bad conflicts. These conflicts should not be there. Whether in house, whether in organizations, these conflicts should be dissuaded. And this is where conflict management becomes tricky. Because good conflicts needs to be persuaded. You need to persuade people to have good conflicts so as to have better decisions, more opinions and all. But at the same time, you will have to dissuade people from making or getting into bad conflicts. The problem is, when we have task conflict on one side, when we have relationship conflict on another side, any unresolved task conflict will eventually lead to a relationship conflict. Any badly handled task conflict will lead to a relationship conflict. And a recurring task conflict. So a task conflict, when you resolve it, but it again comes up. You resolve it, but it again comes up. Any recurring task conflict will again lead to a relationship conflict. I'll give an example of each of them. Imagine that you are applying, you will be having a campus module at the end of your program. And imagine that you apply for a leave to your boss, and your boss says, no, I can't give you a leave. You can't go. You say, all right, I'll not go. My boss is saying, there must be some reason. Then, a couple of months later, you have some wedding that is coming up. Now, a family wedding, and now you are saying that I want to leave, and the boss says, no, I cannot leave. And this keeps on happening. Now the conflict is you want a leave, your boss doesn't give you a leave. A recurring conflict eventually what are you going to do? The conflict is about leaves. But eventually you are going to start blaming the boss. That my boss is not a good guy. My boss is not good. My boss doesn't care about me. My boss is unfair. So the leaves conflict has converted into the boss conflict. So the task conflict is converted into relationship conflict. Similarly, you want a raise and the boss says, I look into it. A couple of months later, you again say that I want a raise. Your boss says, I look into it. The conflict persists because you are not happy with your salary and the boss says, you are fairly paid, I will look into it. No resolution. Eventually, you will start blaming that your boss or your organization doesn't pay you well. You are not going. The issue is about whether I am paid fairly or not. It's an issue about money, which is outside. But you start blaming the boss. It converts into a relationship conflict. And the badly handled conflict is when you start using words. When a conflict happens, you start using words, statements, or language which, rather than resolving the conflict, aggravates the conflict. Means the kind of language you used, right? And that starts aggravating the conflict. And then it starts creating problems. Good negotiators. And that's why negotiation and conflict management is linked. Negotiation is a process of resolving conflict. So unless you have a conflict, you cannot negotiate. Negotiation only happens if you have a conflict. And good negotiators invariably remain on this side. They do not let any conflict to turn into a relationship. They will manage the conflicts in a way that they will always operate in the task domain. They will not let it enter into a relationship domain. Because